Hey, what's up, guys? We have Tyler here, and we have a very interesting deck that has been requested, his Edison Crystal Beast deck profile from feature matches from the tournaments, and we finally got the goo. We know that there's not a lot on YouTube, so...
To start off the deck, 3 Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus. If you're a Crystal Beast player, not a surprise at all. It's the single best normal summon in your deck. On any summon, actually. It puts a Crystal Beast from your hand, deck, or graveyard into your spell and trap card zone. What else do I need to say? It's just absolutely fantastic. It is one of my favorite cards in the game. It's just absolutely wonderful. After Pegasus, I play 3 Topaz Tiger.
3. Yeah, so
I play 3.
You like 3 because of the beat stick?
Yes, because it becomes 2,000 attack points. It beats over every single normal summon, or ties with something like... the one Blackwing level 5 monster, you know.
Sirocco, yeah.
Sirocco, yeah. It ties with Sirocco, which puts it in the back row and kills the Sirocco.
That actually comes up a lot, yeah.
Yep. So since it ties Sirocco and beats over just about every normal summon in the format, it just is wonderful to play, plus it's extra monsters for your back row. So there's no reason not to play 3. If you want to play 2, you can. Personal preference, I love 3.
Sure.
Just because it gives me extra copies of the beater and extra copies to put in the back row. Then 2 Amethyst Cat. We play 2 Amethyst Cat for one specific reason we'll get into in a moment, and I'll explain then, but it's also cheap damage for time reasons if you need it. But then the last Crystal Beast is 1 Carbuncle. You can play 2 Carbuncle. I play 1 just because you don't want to open too many Carbuncle. In other formats, I do play 2 just because you want to be able to summon Carbuncle from the deck with Crystal Beacon. But I think that in this format specifically, with everything being so resource intensive, you can only really afford 1, but you can play 2. It's not like you have to play 1. There's not a right or a wrong decision, it's just personal preference. And in this format, I think 1 is just the better option.
The Swarm ability is very neat. Like in one of the videos, you summon out like a full field off of that, so it's just a very good card.
It's absurd. I mean, it's Soul Charge before Soul Charge was printed, you know, just, special summon this, special summon from the back row, which, but the next 2 cards are why we play Amethyst Cat. Rescue Cat and X-Saber Airbellum.
Alrighty, that's a nice secret Airbellum.
Thank you. I got it from our good friend Kyle.
So is this kind of just like your best play of the deck kind of thing?
Yes, this is how we actually make synchros in the synchro era, because there's no main deck tuner for Crystal Beast. Rescue Cat can summon 2 Cat, which is why you play 2 Cat. If you draw the Airbellum, unfortunately, it just kind of sucks. But also, if you hard draw an Amethyst Cat, Rescue Cat still gets you something from the deck. If you hard draw too many of these, alright, that's a dead cat, but still, like, just having the option to go into your extra deck is insane, and it's necessary in this format because every deck's going to do it, and if you can't, you're going to get blown out. It's just the unfortunate fact of the matter is that you need to be able to make synchros. And...
Ooh, that's a hollow Summoner Monk.
Summoner Monk. I have grown to love this card deeply because of hat format, and it's legal at 1 in Edison, so...
might as well run it.
Might as well. This summons Pegasus from your deck.
That's broken.
That's absolutely insane. Pegasus can't attack, but being able to summon Pegasus and get your engine going simply by discarding a spell card, you know, not really that bad of a downside. How is that a downside at all? You get your engine going by just simply discarding a spell card. That is so worth it.
We just wish it was at 2 or 3. In this format.
I wish Xyz existed. That's what.
Yeah.
This is the single most busted card in hat format Crystal Beast because this is a 1-card rank 4.
Yeah.
Summon Pegasus, get your engine going. Xyz summon.
Sweet.
What more could you ask for? It's literally just the most absurd monster in the deck. And that's including the hands, so don't even test me on this. I know what it is. It is absolutely broken. It dodges bottomless because it's not 1,000 attack points.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Like, what more could you ask for in a monster that gives you a free rank 4? Nothing. Next, I play Gores. Gores and Tragodia are like cards you normally play in this. I only play Gores. I don't play Tragodia because we only have the 1 tuner, and the best part, in my opinion, about Tragodia is after you summon it, you can then use its effect to target a monster in the graveyard, have it become that level, and then synchro summon with it. That's what makes Gale really broken, is if you can go Tragodia into Gale. But that's 2 1-ofs that you have to rely on drawing at the same time, which is why I don't play both. And I only play Gores, because Gores is especially good because of Heavy Storm in the format. Your opponent Heavy Storms you, you have nothing left. Gores gets you 2 free bodies on the board, you're not technically dead yet. You still have a chance to come back and win this game. And I'm very glad that I just got Gores a few days ago.
Oh, really?
When I opened the OTS packs when I got Gores, and I was so happy to see Gores because I was just like, yes, thank you. I have Gores now. I didn't before, and I'm very happy to have it now because it can and will come up. It is a fantastic card. There are only 2 more monsters in the main deck, and it's it is the main deck boss monster in Edison format. Dragon Queen of Tragic Endings.
This card's crazy, and he even has first ed.
Yes. I love this card so much.
It's the reason you play Crystal Beast, I guess, and
quite literally, this card makes Crystal Beast absolutely absurd. It's not very strong in terms of attack points, but its effect more than makes up for that. 1900, you can special summon it by having 3 face-up continuous spell cards. Every Crystal Beast in the back row is a continuous spell card. This card just becomes a free special summon. And if it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, they discard a card and you draw a card.
That's crazy. It's like a +2.
Yeah, it's a +2. It hand rips and draws you a card, getting you more pieces for your engine, your grind game, and ripping away your opponent's resources. It is absolutely brutal, and it has a recovery effect. If it's sent to the graveyard, is it during the standby phase?
Oh yeah, and it even has its little...
During the standby phase, if this is in the graveyard and was sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send a continuous spell card from your field to the graveyard and special summon it from the graveyard.
That's so good with the 2600 defense.
Yes, exactly, because you don't even need it in attack mode. It can just be a defender. It can stall a few turns, because the only thing that's really getting over that are cards like Chaos Sorcerer, Caius, obviously Judgment Dragon, There's not too many other main deck monsters that get over it. Extra deck monsters, which your opponent has to commit to, and you still have back row.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
You still have stuff to stop that or stop your monster from going away. It is just such a wall at times that it can be so useful. I think in one of our replays, I do use this, and it does win me the game.
Yep.
Just because it's able to come back. Because it just is that good. I originally had 1, but I play 2 because I want to see it.
Would you run 3?
I honestly would consider running 3, but at the same time, I don't want to open 3 of it. I'd rather open 1 or maybe 2 of it. I would take opening 2 of it because I know I can get 3 Crystal Beasts in my back row, but I don't want to risk opening 3 of it because that's just 3 dead cards.
That's fair.
So I'll take opening 2 of it to have the risk of seeing it more. I'll take that risk any day, just to be able to see the card.
All right, that's the monsters.
That is all the monsters I play in the main deck. Next to go on to spell cards, I'm going to play 3 Crystal Tree. Crystal Tree is, great for 2 main reasons. It's extra continuous spell cards for Dragon Queen of Tragic Ending, and every time a Crystal Beast is put in your spell and trap card zone, it gains a crystal counter, and you can send it to the graveyard and put Crystal Beast from your deck into your spell and trap card zone equal to the number of counters. So, starting with Pegasus and Crystal Tree is 1 monster on the board and potentially 2 in your back row. And if you open multiple copies of this, you just get a whole bunch of Crystal Beasts in your back row. Can this be a brick? Yes. Do I care? No. It is too good of a 2-card combo to open to not want me to play 3. Crystal Promise is...
it's just a monster reborn, essentially, from the spell and trap card zone.
Yeah, because the Crystal Beasts, instead of being sent to the graveyard, put themselves in the spell and trap card zone. Target a Crystal Beast in the spell and trap card zone, special summon it. This with... Oh my goodness. I did this where I opened Pegasus, a Crystal Tree, and Crystal Promise.
Yeah.
Pegasus put Pegasus.
Oh my god.
Have 2 in the back row, send Crystal Tree, have 3 in my back row.
That's pretty good, yeah.
You have 2 monsters on board, which if Xyz existed, you'd have a rank 4 and 3 in the back row. But even though you don't have that in this format, you still have 3 in your back row for, bit of a spoiler. You have 3 in the back row for Crystal Raigeki. You have 3 in the back row for your field spell, and you just... It also helps thin the deck out of the Crystal Beast that you don't always want to see in your... And even being able to summon Carbuncle from the spell and trap card zone. So, oh my goodness. Carbuncle on special summons all the Crystal Beasts from the back row. So being able to have Carbuncle go into your back row, even if you just set it on a turn, because you had just a very slow hand, or it was your draw for the turn. Even setting it and then next turn summoning it with Crystal Promise is absurd, because that summons all the ones in your back row. If you have multiple, you now have a full board again. The other Crystal card is Crystal Beacon. Crystal Beacon says if you have 2 Crystal Beasts in your back row, special summon 1 from your deck. I originally played 2 copies of this in this format, but it just felt like too much of a brick when I opened it, because you don't always open up Pegasus Crystal Tree, so you don't always have access to 2 in the back row. I play 3 rare value. I absolutely love this card.
Ultra first studs are pretty...
Unfortunately, I only have the 2, but I do have a Raw Yellow Mega Pack 1 as well. So
oh, very good.
yes, so they're all very old, but hey, that's the best part about them. Rare value.
We love draw power.
Yes, it's draw power. It is discount Pot of Greed. If you have 2 Crystal Beasts in your back row, your opponent chooses 1, sends it to the graveyard, you draw 2 cards. You don't run this in Modern. You can run it in Modern if you really want to. It doesn't... The draw power is obviously great in Modern, but in Modern you want your back row like almost always full, so you can use stuff like Crystal Miracle, Crystal Conclave, you know. You want the options of having your back row full. You don't want to send them to the graveyard and then draw those cards, which then you might not be able to activate or use as efficiently. Like, if you use this with 2 Crystal Beasts in your back row, draw a Beacon, that just hurts. Because then you only have 1 in the back row, and then it's just...
Yeah.
It just feels so bad, you know?
Yup.
But in this format, any sort of draw power that gets you to your spell cards, your trap cards, is absolutely broken. Which is why I love 3 of it. Ancient City Rainbow Ruins. This is the Crystal Beast field spell. It has 5 effects depending on how many Crystal Beasts you have in your back row. With 1, it can't be destroyed by card effects, which everyone forgets. I have gotten every person I faced with this effect. Everybody always targets this to destroy it, and I look at them and go, okay, that resolves. Immediately after, they look at me and
Continue.
go, oh, they go, oh shit, it can't be destroyed, can it?
Yep.
I have gotten everyone with it, and especially people who have seen it happen and gone, I'm not letting that happen to me. It happens to them the next time I face them, and they sit there and just go, I don't face this card often enough, do I? Nobody remembers that effect, and it's the first effect. It is so funny.
It's the best field spell in Edison.
There's not many field spells that are playable in Edison.
So it makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, no, like, and this is just such a resource grind material in this format. With 2, it halves the battle damage of any 1 attack during the battle phase, which... Hey, that helps keep you alive. That comes up. That has given me extra turns, and I play this card in even anime formats. That comes up all the time, where it gives me an extra turn to survive. It gives me an extra turn to just try to win the game. It comes up. Every effect on this card is absolutely broken. So broken, in fact, that I had somebody judgment this once.
Oh my god.
Yes. I activated this, they used Judgment. I was visibly shocked for a second. The 3 effect is probably the most broken effect on this card. When you have 3 Crystal Beasts in your back row, you can send a Crystal Beast monster from your field, so it has to be in the main monster zones, because the ones in the back row are continuous spells. That is important, remember that. To negate a spell or trap card your opponent activates.
Yeah, it's really good.
It is a it's like a discount judgment at that point. It can't be activated when a counter trap is activated because it's a field spell, but being able to negate something like Heavy Storm, I don't know, MST, Bottomless Trap Hole, that is a brutal card to hit it. With 4 in the back row, it allows you to draw another card. Free draw 1, why not? And with 5 in the back row, you can special summon 1 from your back row. If Carbuncle's in your back row, you special summon it, have a full field. What more could you ask for? The swarming potential of this deck is absolutely absurd. Do Gold Sark.
Yeah, we love Gold Sark.
I don't think there's an explanation needed. Next, I play 2 Book of Moon. Book of Moon is my way to dodge bottomless trap hole. Or dodge Chaos Sorcerer effect. Because Chaos Sorcerer banishes a face-up monster. Flip your monster face down. Chaos Sorcerer can't attack because it activated its effect, but your monster is safe.
Yep.
Especially good in Crystal Beast because if your opponent is then forced to attack your said Crystal Beast, it gets flipped up and then put in the back row, and it dodged Chaos Sorcerer effect. That actually came up today. I did an Edison match against our good friend Dana, and that came up, funny enough. It was hilarious, and I was quite glad that I had Book of Moon. I originally had 3D Prison in here, but I replaced that with this and another card you'll see in a moment.
Sounds good.
After Book of Moon, I play a Lightning Vortex because it's just a decent card. I see it in a lot of people's sideboards, if I'm honest. I like it in the main. You could put it in the sideboard or not run it at all.
It's a good board breaker, though, going second. And just,
Especially
drawing it out.
Yeah, especially since if you've noticed, there's no, real main deck board breaker. I don't have Judgment Dragon, Chaos Sorcerer, or anything like that. I don't get those easy outs like Dad, I don't have anything like that, so this is my main deck board breaker, the amount of times I've searched this off of Gold Sark, I can't tell you how many times I've done it.
It's also a good Gold Sark target.
Yeah. I did it all the time because it just gave me a guaranteed out, and it made my opponent play around it. Mystical Space Typhoon, it's another one of those limited cards that is just fantastic. And one of my personal favorite decks that I love in this deck is Pot of Avarice. Pot of Avarice, target 5 monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them into your deck, draw 2 cards. It's extra draw power and it helps recover, especially Crystal Beasts and decks like Lightsworn.
Yep.
Especially love this card. But I love it because it helps me recover off of Heavy Storm. I did that in a matchup. I got Heavy Stormed and then immediately activated this, and it was very, very nice to see because I had all my Crystal Beasts in the back row. I had them all in the graveyard, and then I was able to activate this and draw 2 cards and recycle my engine. It kept my grind game going. It's just a good card in general. I love Pot of Avarice.
Sure.
It's a fantastic card.
Let's burn through the traps.
Yep, that is all the spell cards for the main deck. Again, I don't run Heavy Storm or Giant Trinity in the main deck like just about every other deck does. You can find room for them or even cards like Brain Control and Mind Control, but this is just how I prefer to play the deck. First off, for the trap cards, we have Crystal Raigeki. Crystal Raigeki is our only crystal trap card. It's the only one that's good in this format because Conclave doesn't exist yet. Miracle doesn't exist yet.
It's a really good card, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Send 1 Crystal Beast card from your spell and trap cards under the graveyard. Destroy 1 card your opponent controls. It is very simple, and opening this plus Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus is insane.
Huge.
It turns your starter from setting up your back row to an interruption, and that's why I love this card.
Would you ever go to 3?
I believe I have the 3rd one in the side deck, funny enough, just for that option of seeing it. I would consider 3 of this card because it's fantastic. Opening this and
playing it like Hero Beat, that's kind of what Hero Beat does.
Yeah.
So maybe that is worth exploring.
Oh yeah. Even our friend Ben mentioned that he would probably try to build a Hero Beat kind of version of this deck just to see how it would work.
Yep.
And if that's what you want to do, I recommend running 3 of this because this is our Hero Blast of the deck, Instead of sending, Alias or, Neos off Prisma, we send our Crystal Beast from the back row to pop a card,
Sounds good.
It's just our interruption, It's one of the best interruptions in this deck, just because there's not much you can really play in Crystal Beast.
Sure, and then we'll just burn through the generic traps.
Generic traps, 2 bottomless trap hole, banish a monster. It's just good. Torrential Tribute.
It's actually incredible in your deck.
I love this card. When your opponent summons a monster, and no matter what it is, if you activate Torrential Tribute, put your Crystal Beast in your back row, send your opponent's monster to the graveyard. What's better? What deck abuses this better? Tell us in the comments, please. I want to hear it. I will be watching this. After that, Compulsory Evacuation Device. This is the 3rd card I took out the Deep Prison for, because I was originally playing Deep Prison, but this is more reactive.
Yep.
With how Edison is currently being played, you want reactive spells and trap cards, which is why Book of Moon and Compulsory have taken the places of Dimensional Prison.
Yep.
Because instead of having Caius hit the field and banish my Dimensional Prison, which I can't activate, chain compulsory, bounce the Caius.
Yep.
Not the best play in the world, but it's still.
At least you get
got
to
rid of
use
the
it. Yeah, yeah.
At least they got to use it before it just got sent away. You know, it feels better to use or to have in the deck. It really does. After that, Trep does shoot. If your opponent has 4 or more cards in the hand, choose a monster.
Best card in Edison.
Yeah.
What more to say?
Yeah, like quite literally.
If you open it, you win.
What's better? You get to shuffle back the starter or the win condition. Like, it's just broken. After that, Starlight Road. This is another card I don't think I need to explain. This is what really stops Heavy Storm.
That wins your Blackwing in the Light Sword matchup.
Oh, yeah. I had that come up again today when I faced Dana. She was playing a Chaos Lightsworn pile kind of idea. She summoned Judgment Dragon, activated effect, I chained Stardust, or Starlight Road. Summoned Stardust Dragon, and it felt wonderful.
Lovely.
Because I was able to keep my field, keep my resources for a bit, and it just felt amazing. And the last card in the deck is Solemn Judgment.
We love Solemn Judgment.
It's just, it's another card that doesn't need an explanation. You pay half your life points to negate anything. What else do you need?
So let's see the extra deck inside that quickly.
Very quickly we can. I don't have a full extra deck, but you can just play the generic staples of the format. There's nothing else to it. This deck excels at making 6s because of Rescue Cat. The way you make rank 8s in this deck is by special summoning Cyber Dragon, normal summoning Airbellum. It is your only way to an 8, which is why I have them in the sideboard. But for that reason, Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon literally just shit on machine decks.
Shout out Nathan.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out Nathan, just crushes hopes and dreams by summoning Cyber Dragon, taking his machines, and making Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Ancient Fairy Dragon for if you play multiple copies of the field spell. This becomes search another field spell, summon a Pegasus from hand, or summon, Summoner Monk from hand, Airbellum from hand.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's still pretty good elsewise.
Well, I guess you're not summoning Airbellum, but yeah. You can make 6s and 7s with cards like Rescue Cat because you have Pegasus, Crystal Promise to get back Topaz Tiger, or Pegasus from the back row, and then use that in Airbellum for level 7s. It's just a generic good card, and the best part about the Crystal Beast field spell is a soft once per turn. If you activate multiple copies of it, you get its effects again.
That's really crazy.
Which is why I do personally want to run more copies, but it just is a very bad brick. So I wouldn't recommend it, but it's a very fun niche thing you can do with it.
Okay.
X-Saber Airbellum. Airbellum on a Synchro monster. If your opponent has 4 cards in hand, you rip one. Brionic, I don't need to explain that. This not being once per turn. This with the field spell, bounce the field spell, activate the field spell.
Oh, that's cool interaction.
Yeah,
that's insane, actually.
Yes.
What? Okay.
So, since the field spell is a soft once per turn, field spell plus Brionic. Field spell effect, draw a card. Brionic effect, bounce field spell. Play field spell, draw a card. Brionic effect, bounce field spell. Do that till you draw through your entire deck.
That's
any combo piece you
insane.
need. You just go through everything.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to play Abundance in this format. And honestly, I probably should play at least one Abundance. I probably will.
Look out for the next build.
Yes. I probably just bump the deck up to 42 and play Crystal Abundance, which says send 4 Crystal Beasts from your back row to the graveyard. Destroy all cards send all cards on the field to the graveyard, and summon Crystal Beasts from your graveyard equal to the number of cards sent from your opponent's field. It's absolutely broken. I probably will play it. But yeah, that is the Infinite Loop combo with Brionic, if you didn't know.
Sounds good.
Yugioh Guardian, it's just one of the best level 6s in the format. No real explanation.
Same with Black Rose. Yeah.
Black Rose Dragon, Stardust Dragon, especially for Starlight Road reasons.
Yep.
And you can play more Starlight Road. I don't think it's limited at all in this format.
Nope.
If you want to play 3 and 3 Stardust Dragon, go right ahead. I won't stop you. Thought Ruler Archfiend for just a generic rank or level 8. Colossal Fighter, Red Dragon Archfiend, and Mistworm.
Nice.
Because Mistworm can be summoned off 2 Amethyst Cat and a Airbellum. So you can summon Mistworm in this deck. Why not,
Can you summon Armory Arm? Would you run that if you had that? You'd probably have a magical android in the Armory Arm and Catastrophe in there.
Is Armory Arm a 6 or
It's a
4?
4.
Oh, it's a 4.
You can't go into a 4.
No, because our tuner is a level 3 and we only have level 3 Crystal Beasts.
And you can't go into 5s, right?
No, unfortunately,
Yeah,
we
so-
need a generic, level 2 tuner or something like that. Like,
Maybe a plague spreader one day.
I mean, honestly, I probably would be that crazy a person to try to build some chaos. I don't tempt me. I
With
might
Dark
have to.
Rainbow Dragon.
Oh my goodness, that would be hilarious. I might have to try that one day. Who knows? Maybe Chris will convince me into
Do you have a side deck at all, maybe for reference, that we could just
I do
quickly
have
show?
one. The side deck it's another malleable thing. You play what you want. I play 2 DD Crow because there are a lot of decks like Frogs, which have, there's Treeborn Frog. If you snipe Treeborn Frog, Colossal Fighter, that's just really good for getting rid of those options which don't really have any way of removal otherwise,
Sure.
How do you deal with the Treeborn Frog or a Colossal Fighter? You really can't unless you bottomless the Colossal Fighter on summon,
Yep.
Like, there's not much you can do about it. That's why DD Crow's here. I do have Mind Control in the sideboard at the moment. Cards like Nobleman of Crossout, just because hitting a Raikou, especially since we don't play Raikou, is broken.
Yep.
Hitting Snowman Eater is busted. There's a few other flip monsters, I think, but those are like the 2 big ones that happen in Edison format. Nobleman of Crossout is just really good, and it's, like everybody says, it's kind of hard to side in more than, 2 copies of a card. We have 2 Cyber Dragon for the Fortress reasons, and going second, and even just playing a beatdown version of the deck in games 2 or 3, it comes up, and it's nice to have the 21 body, especially since Topaz Tiger only becomes 22, or only becomes 2,000. It's just nice as an option. My Body as a Shield is a secondary option. Book of Moon, you pay 1,500 and protect your monsters from destruction. Stops Bottomless Trap Hole, can stop
Deck Devi.
Deck Devastation Virus. Yeah, like this. It's another option, especially if you know your opponent's going to play Deck Devastation Virus. Especially if you're facing Blackwing. This might be like a really good card.
Oh, you always side that against Blackwing because
Against
of Icarus
Blackwing.
attack, too.
You side this in against Blackwing because it can destroy their deck, It's just really hurtful. The Brain Control, because stealing monsters is good. You can play these in the main deck. I have them in the side for now just because
Not enough tributes and not enough tuners.
we don't have cards that can really take advantage of stealing a monster from your opponent. Again, because there's only the 1 tuner. Unless I'm stealing a tuner from my opponent, these aren't really that busted. Plus, most of the time my opponent's not ending on a tuner monster. They use that to synchro on their turn. It's just
Sure,
it's unreliable unless I can normal summon a tuner, and I only have the 1. Why bother running more? And then we do have the giant.
The back row hit.
Yeah, we do have the back row hate in the side deck, just to have them. They're like necessary cards. It's just I hate running them in the main deck because drawing this after you've gone through Crystal Beast combo, you have 4 in your back row. Drawing Heavy Storm. Am I gonna blow up my own? Am I gonna blow up my own Crystal Beast to potentially get rid of 2 cards on my opponent's field? It just doesn't feel worth it. Giant Trinity is the same way. I don't want to bounce too many Amethyst Cats or Topaz Tiger into my hand because then that's too many cards in my hand. It just feels bad.
Sure, what are the last ones then?
And the last 4 are Dust Tornado and Trapstone.
Oh, more back row hate. We love it.
It's more back row hate because these are more like. These are more on the side because they're trap cards. If there was like a spell card that was trap stun, oh my goodness.
I think it's a very well-rounded side deck. You have a lot of go second and go first cards.
Yeah,
So.
I've thought about it for a bit, and it just obviously you can change it to how you prefer your side deck and whatnot. You can throw these in the main deck if you really want to run them, because going second and opening Heavy Storm can be really good. There's definitely things to think about. I'm not saying my list is perfect, and I never will, because it's only perfect to me.
A humble king, a humble crystal king. I want to see the deck develop too. Like, I don't think enough people have really tried it out in Edison, so we appreciate you pushing it forward.
Yeah, no, I'm interested, and I want to see more people play it because it's just another cool rogue option.
What other deck plays Queen of Tragedies?
Oh yeah, how else do you make that card playable? You can run a deck that's all continuous spell cards, that and Gold Cirque, you search it out, but Crystal Beast really abuses that card, and it makes your opponent play around it. I have stolen games in tournament and just when playtesting the deck because of Dragon Queen, and it makes my opponent play around it once they know I have it because of how brutal the hand ripping is. You know, like they can't let that resolve. They have to Judgment, bottomless trap hole it. You know, they have to get rid of it or else it's just going to be oppressive.
Well, thank you very much for the deck profile. We got a huge video for everybody who wants to ever play Crystal Beast Edison. So thank you very much, and we'll be seeing you guys later.
Thanks for having me on.
Bye.
Peace.